The story of marvelous Marvin Hagler is one of the most remarkable in boxing history, but the tragedy that surrounds his life and sudden passing remains heartbreaking for fans who admired not only his greatness in the ring but also the dignity with which he carried himself outside it. Hagler was a throwback fighter, a product of grit and perseverance, a champion who earned every ounce of respect through years of being overlooked, underestimated, and even avoided. Yet the end of his life came quietly and unexpectedly, leaving the world stunned and searching for the right words to honor someone who seemed almost larger than life. Hagler rose from humble beginnings in Newark and later Brockton, where the Petronelli brothers helped sculpt him into a relentless, disciplined fighter. Nothing about his path was easy. Middleweights of the era often found reasons to look elsewhere rather than face his punishing southpaw stance and granite chin. Hagler did not become champion because he was anointed or promoted as a superstar. He became champion because he kept knocking on the door until his fists broke it down. His 1980 title win over Alan Mint, in hostile territory and under brutal conditions, finally gave him the recognition he had been denied for so long, though even that moment was tainted by chaos, as he was showered with bottles and debris moments after securing victory. Triumph, for Hagler, always seemed to come with a splash of pain. Once he gained the middleweight crown, however, Hagler did what true champions do. He defended it with ferocity, consistency, and pride. For 7 years he ruled his division, demolishing challengers with a mix of calculated pressure and destructive power. His fights were not just sporting events, they were tests of will. Hagler didn't dance, didn't boast, didn't try to sell a persona. He fought, and in fighting, he revealed something essential about himself, a man who asked for nothing other than fairness and the chance to earn his place. The 1985 war with Thomas Hearns remains one of the greatest fights in boxing history. In less than 3 rounds, the two men produced a masterpiece of violence and courage that still defies belief. Hagler walked through fire that night, bleeding early, but surging forward with a determination that felt almost supernatural. When he landed the finishing blows, it wasn't just a knockout, it was the culmination of everything he had ever fought for. That night defined him for millions around the world. Yet Hagler's heart was broken in. The sport broke it after his bitterly disputed 1987 loss to Sugar Ray Leonard. Many fans and experts still believe Hagler won that fight, but what mattered more was the way the result seemed to confirm his suspicion that boxing's politics had always been stacked against him. Hagler left the ring and never returned. He retired in silence, moved to Italy, and built a new life on his own terms. He had nothing left to prove to anyone. The tragedy of Marvin Hagler lies partly in what he endured during his career, but also in the abruptness and mystery that surrounded his death in 2021. He passed away suddenly at the age of 66, and although no official cause was publicly confirmed by his family, the shock alone was enough to devastate the global boxing community. He seemed so strong, so eternal, that the news didn't feel real. Fans struggled to reconcile the image of the indestructible champion with the fragile reality that even legends are mortal. His death was not the dramatic scene of a fighter overwhelmed in the ring, nor the slow decline that sometimes shadows aging athletes. It was a quiet departure, a fading of one of the sport's brightest flames. What makes his story especially heartbreaking is the sense that Hagler deserved more peace, more recognition, more time. He had survived the hardships of poverty, the brutality of boxing, and the disappointments of a system that rarely favored him. He had earned a chance to grow old, basking in his legacy. Instead, the world lost him too soon, and the silence left behind feels achingly incomplete. Yet the beauty of Marvin Hagler's life lies not in how it ended, but in how profoundly he lived it. He embodied fairness, work ethic, and authenticity in a sport that often rewards the opposite. His tragedy is heartbreaking, but his memory is unbreakable. He remains, forever, marvelous.